Kate O'Donnell with The Productive Teacher. I'm here today to show you my Organelles of the Cell vocabulary pages. These are pages that you can use to increase your students' understanding of vocabulary related to the organelles of the cell. You're going to get these pages, which you can either print or use digitally. They have a color picture of the organelle in the cell, the name, and then a brief description to help students understand their role in the cell. As I said, you can use these digitally or you can print them out and put them on your bulletin board. You also get notebook pieces. So these are pieces that students can use in their notebooks or to create flashcards to quiz themselves. Notice it still has the picture and the name of the organelle, but it doesn't have a description. That's because we want students as much as possible to be putting things in their own words. It's going to help them understand and remember what they learned better if they have to put more effort into it. So that's why I didn't include the description with the notebook version. So when you print this out, you will then want to cut it up. So here I have some of the display versions that I've already cut out. It has the picture and the description. These I would go ahead and put on my bulletin board for students to reference as they're learning. I also have the notebook pieces cut out, and these students would need their science notebook and a glue stick, and then they could glue them in. And I have long ones to show the animal cell, the plant cell, and the bacterial cell, and then the shorter ones are each of the organelles. Okay, so here I could glue this in. And this way students have, it's a little bit long, so I'll put it sideways. This way students have an accurate record of each of the organelles so that when they're studying, they know exactly what they're looking at. And that will help them learn more for the test. So here's cytoplasm. So if I was a student, I would be gluing this into my notebook here. And then next to it, I could write the definition of cytoplasm. So I would either get this from a reading passage or a textbook or a teacher lecture or a video. There's lots of ways for students to learn the definition of these words. In this case, I know it. Cytoplasm is cytosol, which is the liquid of the cell, plus the organelles, except the nucleus, but not the nucleus. So here I have my picture and then I have my description. This is also super helpful for making those flashcards that are so important for studying information. You could glue the picture on one side of the note card and on the other write your description, and then students could quiz themselves or quiz each other so that they memorize all of these different vocabulary terms that are going to be so helpful to them as they learn about cells. Let me show you how to use the notebook pieces for my Organelles of the Cell vocabulary resource. So here I have printed and cut out several different pictures of organelles of the cell. The first thing I'm going to want to do is label my notebook organelles of the cell. Then I'll pick a card. We'll say cell membrane first, and I'll glue it into my notebook. I like to make sure I get the edges as much as possible. There we go. And then I can write a definition of the cell membrane next to the picture. So the cell membrane is the layer around the outside of the cell. and it decides what goes in and out of the cell. Now, it decides might be a little bit off, but this definition will help me get a better idea of what the cell membrane does. Another way I can put things in my notebook, this time I will take a lysosome. Instead of gluing the whole thing in my notebook, I'm just going to put glue on the edge. And now I have created a flap that I can use when studying. So I'll line this up right here. Now I can write the definition under the flap. So the lysosome, it cleans out the cell. It breaks down old organelles, stuff that's not supposed to be in the cell. So let's see if I can get a better definition than that. Okay, it keeps the cell clean. It breaks down waste. So now I have my definition under the picture. And this way, when I'm studying, I can say, oh, lysosome, what was that? I think it had something to do with waste. And then I lift the flap, and here's the definition. And I can either say, yes, I was right on, no, I was totally wrong, or, oh, I need to add this one piece of information. That act of trying to remember and then checking our work is going to help students learn faster and better than just looking at the definition and rereading it. Rereading is a terrible way to try to remember things. But if this helps students to have it next to each other while taking their notes, they can do it like this and then create note cards to test themselves later. So this is how I would put together my notes using these notebook pieces. You can see I have lots more on organelles of the cell.